Hey everyone, this podcast is part of Story Mode, the podcast network of Gamefully Unemployed. You can support us and gain access to other great exclusive podcasts at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. That's patreon.com/GAMEFULLY unemployed, which is spelled like it sounds.
Yes!
Yes!
Hi, everybody!
Hello, everyone!
My name is David Bell.
My name is Tom Ryman.
We just watched Noelle.
Noel.
No.
L. 0 L.
Yeah, there's no fucking L. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, get that fucking horse shit out of my face. Out from in front of my face.
Noelle, will your brother be ready by Christmas? Of course. He's a Kringle. Look what you're doing.
I want to do this. No.
Great, this is great.
No.
Let it happen.
This is not going well at all.
Sometimes I dream about getting out.
Well, you can't be Santa if you're having a nervous breakdown. You need to get away for the weekend.
For the first time in 2,000 years, Santa has disappeared.
I just said he should take the weekend off.
We must have a new Santa. Gabriel, Kringle.
Me? I'm in the tech department and loving it.
What about a rescue mission?
Jeez. Hey, it's Thursday, folks. That means we're doing a Patreon We Just Watched Classic. In this case, it was brought to you by Patreon subscriber Andrew McGuire.
Woo!
Thank you, Andrew McGuire. I don't know why you wanted us to watch Noelle.
I am not sure.
Well, all right. Here's the thing. As a Patreon producer, this is thinking like a producer because it's the holiday season.
It is. That's true. We watched, what did we watch? Hogfather last year.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Thank you, Andrew McGuire. This is a good pick.
I mean, it's a solid, it's a timed release. Sure.
Yeah, exactly. They're doing our job for us, Tom. Mm-hmm. This is on Disney Plus. This is a Anna Kendrick kids movie.
Yeah, it's about Anna Kendrick, Bill Hader.
Bill Hader, right? That's the other one.
You got Shirley MacLaine running around in there.
Yeah, it sure does. A Christmas movie. She's Santa's daughter, and her brother is supposed to take the mantle, and he runs away, and she goes and finds him. Tom, what? All right, this movie it's more like geared towards like family kids, right?
Yeah.
With that in mind, what did you think of this movie?
It's fine.
All right.
Like,
yeah, I thought it wasn't half bad.
No, it's completely fine for a Christmas movie. It's corny, but like not in a mean way or anything.
Well,
like, I mean, this movie ain't hurting no one.
Well, here's what I want to say about that. Is that I think this is a fairly progressive view of Christmas specials. In that it deals with things like separation with families, wealth inequality, tradition, and the breaking of tradition, such as spoilers, having a lady Santa.
Yes.
It's not doing any huge.
No, it's very surface level for all.
It's
those
not.
things.
It's not a revolution here.
No.
I'm just saying, in terms of a Christmas movie, they clearly looked at it and they were like, well, let's make a positive, because all Christmas movies are supposed to have fucking positive ass messages, and in this one, it's just about how traditions can be broken.
They change,
and they also don't do a lot of like strawman stuff like the Santa Council. When Santa brother is like, I think Noelle should be Santa, it takes them all of like 10 seconds to be like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, why not? Give us a speech. And she gives a speech and like, sure, you're Santa.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, we just checked the Santa laws, and there's
Santa
nothing in
laws.
here.
That's the Constitution. Yeah, they're like, there's no rule that says you can't be Santa can't be a woman. And then she gives a speech, and it does a close-up on Ron Funches saying, "We have a Santa again."
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
Ron Funches is in this movie as an unnamed elf who just sings.
This movie has a lot of comedic talent behind it, which, that seems about right. For like a kid's movie, you
Yeah.
get a bunch of comedians. You say, look, we're making this for kids, but, put jokes.
Yeah,
I thought Anna Kendrick did a great job.
Yeah. This movie doesn't have any like huge laughs, but there's a bunch of things that she says just like really quickly in passing that are pretty damn funny.
Yeah, I enjoyed, what was it, Yogurt Pants?
Yeah, the yogurt pants, yeah.
I enjoyed also Yoga Voice, where she's yelling at him and he's like, Yoga Voice. But it feels like this is more of a kid's movie because it's a Santa movie. So like, I don't know. It's felt like it had a lot of product placement.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
keep
that
mentioning
doesn't...
iPads and Google Translate and Petco, and I don't know. That's
And
whatever.
it takes place largely in an outdoor mall in Phoenix, Arizona.
Yes, and when you put it that way, the movie sounds like a real bummer.
Yeah,
It takes place.
I think
It
it's
takes
just...
place on like the set of Breaking Bad. Like it's just this shitty outdoor mall in Arizona.
They're talking about using Amazon Prime to send packages. It's just trying to be... I think it's less product placement, and because they're never in your... Like, nobody ever holds up an iPad. They just... Everybody... It's a running gag that everybody wants an iPad for Christmas.
Right, and that's fine. Yeah, there's a little thing with tech Santa stuff with
Billy Eichner, who's just
Billy Eichner
terrible
as
at
evil Santa.
Well, he's not evil. He's just bad at it.
Yeah.
He makes an algorithm that, like all artificial intelligences, goes insane.
Yeah.
And decides that everybody's naughty. They did the same thing in the Santa Claus too.
Yeah. This okay, so this we should just get this out there because I have a lot of questions about how the North Pole works, Tom.
Right, because there's clearly commerce and their money is chocolate.
Yeah. But they do
also,
the thing.
But also they make hot chocolate by melting chocolate.
Right. That's weird. It's like a feudal system, and I guess this is the North Pole in general, where like the difference between this and like most North Poles is whenever we see the North Pole in other movies, they choose to be more magical with it. Like the elves seem like they're not human. They might not eat. In this, it's like just a town. There's a newspaper.
Right. It's like a small town in Connecticut. That's what it looks like.
And so I think and then the big thing is that in most of these Santa Claus movies, Santa is magical in that he is relatively immortal. Right? Like the Santa Claus rules of the movie The Santa Claus was if you kill Santa, you become Santa.
Yeah, or until he dies.
Right.
Like he's probably going to get older. Like he got older as the movies went on.
All right, was that canon? I don't remember. I only saw the first Santa Claus.
Well, I mean, as far as I know, I've watched all three of them.
You've watched all three of them?
I can't remember the third one. That's the one that has Martin Short in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, Santa is mortal in the Santa Claus universe.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he certainly dies.
The elves
So
are
Santa
immortal.
Claus universe, okay. Santa Claus universe, I feel like, deals with this too, which is that, yeah, in this, Santa Claus just retires and dies.
He doesn't retire.
In
he
like
dies.
the first 10 minutes.
Like,
Yeah.
He drops dead in like the middle of the year, and it's like in the first 5 or 10 minutes, and I was fucking laughing my ass off because the first two things this movie introduces to you is one, Santa fucks. Because
Santa fucks hard.
Here is kids, and then he like makes out with Mrs. Claus, who is Julie Haggerty.
Yep.
And then right
Solid.
after that scene, Anna Kendrick is like, "Dad passed away." I was like, "Santa died."
They present it in such a grounded way.
Right. Like he got bone cancer.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he doesn't like magically turn into pixie dust. He doesn't die comically like in the Santa Claus. It happens off screen.
Yeah.
And they're just like, Santa passed away, as you know. Like, holy shit.
As you all have heard.
Yeah.
Which left me with the questions like, what do you do with Santa's body?
Oh, you feed it to the reindeer, probably.
I can figure you eat it.
Yeah, I would eat some of his flesh. I mean,
that's how you get his power.
Yeah. Well, even if you get his power enough, when do you get to eat Santa? You know, that's a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
So you're gonna get a slice. Everybody's gonna get a slice.
Yeah, chances like that don't come every day.
Right.
They just wheel his ass out there like in the end of the the Cook the Thief, his wife and her lover.
Like, so come and get it. Anybody want some of this Santa?
Just this horrible glazed corpse.
I don't know if you'd be horrible. Santa looks delicious.
That's true.
You just gotta shave him. You gotta shave him first. I'm sure he's very. I'm sure he tastes like candy.
Mm-hmm.
And blood. You know, those two things, candy and blood.
Candy and blood.
Mm-hmm. So all right. So this is the thing. So Santa fucks and he just lives regular, and they pass the Santa on in the family. Mm-hmm. And they show this in this opening scene, which, by the way, felt like a real bummer because Bill Hader as a kid, like Santa gave some shitty gifts. They do this. They try to do a fake out, by the way, too, where they have the little girl like get up and be like, Santa, and he's like, oh, don't tell anybody, it's me.
They're doing a bit.
Yeah, he's
doing a bit with a 6-year-old.
Right, he says, quote, my job depends on not getting caught, which is just a funny quote because that's like Santa and criminals.
Yeah. That is Santa and a bank robber.
Yeah, exactly. But they do an establishing shot showing the North Pole, so they kind of fuck up the gag. Because the gag is you're supposed to think, oh, this is just any town USA, and the little girl gets up and catches Santa, but oh, it's her father. But they do an establishing shot showing that it's like clearly a magical place. I don't know. That's my note for the film. But and then he gives them gifts.
If we're given notes, I've got notes, but continue.
Okay. He gives them gifts, and like he gives her like a magazine and like a bunch of trinkets, and it's like, this motherfucker is Santa.
Right?
And this is his kids.
You should be giving these kids Game Gears, you shithead.
Right. Yeah, what the fuck, Santa? They're your kids.
What the literal fuck is your problem? You're fucking Santa Claus.
Yeah, and then he gives his son just his work hat. Like, that was a bummer, too. He gives him the Santa hat, and he's like, this will be yours. You're going to be Santa next. Yeah. Which reminded me of, like, the Venture Brothers when he gets Hank a speed suit, and he's all bummed out. Because it's like, that's like... You know, like, that's cool. That's cool you're passing the torch, but it's Christmas. You know?
Yeah.
Get me a gift. Don't get me work.
Yeah, I don't need
work.
Don't give me a briefcase and be like, you're going to use this when you graduate from law school in 25 years. I'm like, that's great. Could I maybe have a board game or something? Like,
yeah.
The fuck am I going to do with this briefcase?
I'm 10 or
you
whatever.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. So I guess what disturbs me is that this means that Santa not only fucks, but he has kids, and then the kids grow up to be Santa. Those kids have kids, and it keeps continuing like that. Now, the North Pole is like one street.
Yeah.
So they're inbreeding, right? Like that like the bloodline in that North Pole, like it's got to be.
No, I mean, you know, Santa can go. He can go. You know, prowling for chicks the other 11 months out of the year.
That's the other option, which is kind of weird too, right? Because we're in the scenario of a world that doesn't believe in Santa. That's the version we're in.
Uh-huh.
So like Santa's got to go out, find a lady, go on dates. Mm-hmm. When inevitably she's like, I want to see your place. Mm-hmm. Does he have like a burner apartment?
No,
like a fake apartment.
That's when you take her to the north. You were describing the Santa Claus too. Like,
am I really?
Yes, you are.
Jesus Christ! So does he take? Does
he takes her to the North Pole?
Okay, so the sleigh comes out and he's like, "So I'm Santa."
Basically, yeah.
Jesus.
I mean, it's it's building up to
here's
that. Like,
okay, so what has to happen then is they're like, look, if you want to go any further, you're going to have to join my North Pole commune. And like never, like either you bring your family with you or you just forget about them because you're living at the North Pole now. We only have one ride out.
It's not Neverland, Dave. Like you can still like call you don't have to. You're
right.
You're inventing some weird rules for this.
No, I'm saying the North. All right, the North Pole is a very isolated location. Correct. They don't seem to have travel in and out. I didn't see any except for a sleigh.
Not much, no. I assume the elves don't go anywhere because they're kind of conspicuous and they're immortal.
So it's the equivalent of living in like the research lab in the thing. Like it's in terms of isolation.
Well, but
and the amount of drinking probably.
They have like shops clearly and
yeah.
And
I'm
like
just saying that
they have
in order
like computers and Amazon and shit.
I'm just saying, in order to marry Santa, you have to like change your life.
Yeah, you would definitely have to move.
Yeah, and that's asking a lot.
It is
my point.
But that's, I don't know. That's
it. Just feels culty. They have like a Necronomicon type Santa book in this.
They do. They have the Book of Santa.
Yeah, where it's like all the magic powers, and like they read it like an instruction manual, and that makes me very like. That makes me wonder who the fuck wrote that book, Do they even know?
The first Santa.
Yeah.
I guess. Santa's disciples.
So, like, it's like a cult, is my point. It really feels like a cult.
A reading from the Book of Luke in the Book of Santa.
Yeah. Like, it's very closed off. They don't have cops, as we learn.
No, because there's no
when
crime.
She assaults a cop. Well, is there no crime, or is it just that they only have one punishment?
Well, I mean, those two things are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah. I just figure
there's no crime because there's only one.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. It reeks of a cult is my point. It's a North Pole that they present like a community of people as opposed to a magical place. So it felt grounded.
It's a little bit of both, but yeah, it's like a magical Main Street in like New Hampshire or Connecticut.
Right.
It's exactly what it looks like with like a
Pretty
street full of boutiques and cafes and stuff.
Yeah.
And like we said, there's a newspaper.
Right. There's a fucking newspaper.
Yeah, and that lady's an elf. So she's going to be writing that newspaper for hundreds of years.
Yeah. It's wild. They
real entrenched editorial staff at that newspaper.
Yeah, things get really dark too. In my opinion is so the plot is Anna Kendrick, Noelle, she suggests to her brother, "Oh, maybe take a weekend off." And
because he's stressing the fuck out and he's not very good at being Santa.
Yeah. And he disappears.
Yeah. Abruptly.
And then
my real quick, my note for the film is that the pacing in this movie is wild.
Yes. Because also they don't care. They're like, "Well, need a new Santa." And it's like, what if he's dead in the snow right now? Like, don't you want to find this Santa?
It's weird that she is the only one who goes looking for Santa.
Yeah, it's very weird.
Guys, isn't there protocol for this?
Yeah, they should put a chip in him.
Seriously. Like, why isn't he like low-jacked?
Why isn't Santa low-jacked?
He should be.
Because it's weird. Their whole economy is Santa-based, too. That's what I mean. It's like a feudal system because he's like the king. And everybody's sort of... like, they do that whole thing where they're like, you got to call him Santa. You can't call him by his name anymore. And they're, like, scolding his cousin. Mm-hmm. And, like, there's this weird, like, royalty aspect. And, like, you got to respect Santa. Mm-hmm. Like, and that was weird. There was like social pressure, which felt culty. They, when Anna Kendrick reveals, like, "Oh, I sort of suggested that he takes a weekend," she's so scared to tell them.
Well, and she correctly so, because they all turn against her.
The entire town shuns her. They don't serve her at restaurants anymore, and all she did was have a conversation with somebody. Like, she just spoke her mind. Not like he's the one who vanished. all she did is say, maybe take a weekend off.
Yeah.
And that was her opening her mouth and speaking her mind was so egregious in this culture that everybody shunned her. I just thought that was really fucked up.
It's pretty extreme.
The first 20 minutes of this movie, like, feel just kind of dark, the society that they're building here.
Mm-hmm.
There's just, like, the book, the weird Santa system, the limited community. And, like, yeah, it was kind of magic, but it's, like, kind of tech-based, too. There's, like, a Santa tribunal. Like, there's a Santa council.
There is. Did you notice who the head of the Santa Council was?
Who is that?
It's Michael Gross.
Really?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
That was Bert.
That is... Holy shit. That is Michael Gross. I was looking at him. I was like, who is that guy?
It's Michael
I know
Gross.
this man. I know this man.
Baby.
So yeah, they crash. She flies to Phoenix, crashes at this. Nobody cares that it's that world where like Santa doesn't exist according to adults, but no one seems to notice Santa stuff. No one seems to notice why gifts are showing up.
Yeah,
and no one seems to notice a sleigh crashing down in Phoenix.
Well,
either.
Yeah, and and she gets spotted by like every house she goes to in the end.
Right.
Like
so, I guess this is a world that now has to accept Santa exists, right?
Or some of them like aren't. Like she walks in on that one family who's just eating Chinese food, and the dad just looks at her and says, "We're Jewish." And like so, it's like they don't even question it. She's like, "Oh well, clearly this young woman is Santa now, and she's just come to our house by mistake. So we will just very patiently inform her that we don't celebrate Christmas."
Well,
and
like,
then she climbs right back up the chimney.
Right, and they move on,
and they just continue eating their lo mein.
There's also the part where like Santa sends everybody a text, and it makes the news.
Yeah,
and so that was another where I was like, "Wait, so is Santa a thing?" Because they put her in the psych ward for saying she's related to Santa. Mm-hmm. So they clearly don't believe in Santa most of the time.
Also, they were really overstepping their boundaries there
by putting her in a psych ward.
Yeah.
She assaults a cop, which is pretty.
She kicks a cop in the shin.
Yeah.
Like it's like and they're like it was so hard to like give a shit.
Well, it's because all
they're
cops
like,
are bastards.
She's like she assaulted a police officer. It's like fuck you.
The cops clearly like lied.
Yeah.
The cops aren't cool in this.
No, and then they're like, oh, she's saying she's related to Santa, so we sent her to a mental hospital for a psych evaluation. It's like, really? You did that, huh?
Yeah.
You made that call, huh? All right.
This woman has no rights, I guess. All right. Jesus Christ. And then she breaks out. She breaks out similar to Terminator 2, where the psychiatrist sees it and like breaks. She faints when she sees the sleigh. Mm-hmm. And it's like the guy in Terminator 2. Like, she's going to be dealing with that shit for years. Because she's going to think she had a breakdown. But then again, they sort of believe in Santa. I'm unclear. There's some stuff I'm unclear. Like, they try to do the elf thing where Anna Kendrick is out of her element when she shows up in Phoenix. She doesn't understand certain things, like social things.
Yeah.
But in Elf, it was classic magical Santa. And again, in this one, it's just a town.
Essentially,
so, like,
well, I mean,
they have a newspaper.
She is magic, and there is magic.
It's just weird.
They've grounded it.
Yeah, no, I know it's magic, but what I'm saying is that in Elf, the reason Buddy couldn't was so silly was because he lived in a bubble, right? He didn't understand society.
Yes.
In this one, they try to do the same thing with her, but she knows society. She knows iPads. She knows the internet. She knows tech. She lives in a society. The town is very much a town.
Yeah, it's still clearly a bubble though. Like you kept using the word cult.
Yeah, it is a cult. I guess you're right. It is a cult. Like for when she accidentally drinks alcohol and she doesn't understand what that is. And it was like, why wouldn't she understand what that is?
I don't know. They don't serve in the North Pole.
Yeah, they apparently don't serve alcohol in the North Pole.
Can't have a drunk Santa.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, I guess you can. Actually, that might make Christmas more fun.
Yeah.
Santa just fucking barreling through your house. Oh!
Right.
Throwing the presents at the kids.
But I guess that you're right. It does speak more to cult stuff because she doesn't understand aspects of society that you'd think someone would understand just living in a town. Like they're just they're so Santa centric in the North Pole, you know?
Yeah.
That's all they care about.
Well, it's like, what is she doesn't get yoga and she doesn't know what a fist bump is.
Yeah, there's also like the stuff where she's like socially awkward. She's sitting at the woman's desk and doesn't seem to know when the woman is like trying to cue her, like, that's my desk. There's little like she's naive, the alcohol thing. Mm-hmm. She doesn't understand like sunscreen and that it's hot in Arizona.
Why
and
would she?
Yeah, I know. But like you'd think it's this weird thing. It's like you'd think someone who's this plugged into Santa would be more worldly because Santa's a worldly fellow. Santa knows how to navigate the world. And I guess that's what it's sort of about is she's learning, she's like absorbing Santa powers throughout the movie. And so I guess she's more sheltered because she's from a very important family, the Santa family.
It would be like a member of the royal family.
Yeah, you're right.
Suddenly living in regular society. They'd understand, maybe 70 to 80% of it, but there's going to be things that they just have never interacted with before.
Right. So she needs to find her brother. She starts living out of the sleigh outside of a Petco in this market. Like they're just her and Shirley MacLaine are just like taking baths in the sinks, I assume, or the fountain.
Yeah, they're right next to a fountain. There you go.
Yeah, they're just like they're living in their car essentially.
Yeah, well, they're only there for like a day.
That's true. It's like a couple days.
I think they're there for one night.
I don't know. She hires a private detective, and bonds with him and his son, and goes to a shelter, and that's a very sweet scene where she communicates with a deaf child, people who are down in their luck. Mm-hmm. And she finds her brother who's like trying to find himself. He's into yoga. Which is funny because he gravitated like kind of from one cult to another. That isn't to say yoga is a cult, but then he goes to like a desert yoga compound, and that's definitely
that has quiet meditation all night until sunrise.
Yeah, that's some cult shit.
That's a little weird, yeah.
Yeah, so he clearly gravitated from one just like culty society to the other. He doesn't want to be Santa. She takes him to the mall to try to be Santa to test it, and that's when she is, quote unquote, assaults a cop. She's clearly this whole time absorbing the Santa power. She can tell if a kid's naughty or nice. She can speak in every language. It's just happening to her. And then she gets committed. The PI is going to help her to escape, but then like it feels like Shirley MacLaine helps.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
she flies the sleigh.
Right, and then she breaks out the window. This is my big criticism. The third act drags in this because they do the thing where she gets home. They do the she should be Santa, and it really feels like that's the end, right?
Right, and then we have like 10 minutes of her being Santa.
Yeah, and I get they needed a punctuation of like here's what happened to the characters, but they do this like sequence where she's having trouble as Santa, and then they show her like learning to be like, people are saying you're not Santa and stuff, and then she visits the shelter, gifts the mother a job, and the kid an iPad, and like they all say thanks Santa, and like that sequence, it felt like I don't know if we needed that.
Yeah,
that was never a struggle for her.
No, she was always nice to these people.
Right. They do two like I am Santa moments. They do it with the elf council, and then they do it with the people. And it felt like we didn't need that second one, or we didn't need the first one.
Yeah, and like having her randomly get sent to prison. That
drags a little. That felt like they were running out of shit to do there.
Yeah.
This movie is definitely kind of like, and then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, and so on, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, then she delivers all the gifts. The weird one is like the private detective, all the kid wants is for him to join his ex-wife and the kid for Christmas. And so she flies him there unannounced. And she's like, I don't know, maybe it'll be better this time. And like, what if it wasn't? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. That's pretty presumptuous.
What if it was just horrible?
Yeah. Yeah, and that's his whole thing. He's like, this isn't cool, you know, like.
Yeah, like I can't just show up.
Yeah. We're two adults who got a divorce. Let us deal with it our way, Santa. Mm-hmm. Like, there's a little bit of like, they're trying to navigate this idea because her ending speech is like, you know, oh, there's so many problems in the world and Christmas can't solve it, but we can make things a little better. But then she also like gets a woman a job and like solves her poverty. She
gives her a job listing, she says.
Right.
She doesn't give her a job.
Right. And can you imagine getting a job listing for Christmas?
That's some condescending shit. It's like I haven't been reading job listings.
Right.
I mean, thank you. But
I just had to look. Thanks so much, Santa.
Yeah.
Santa's like, you got to pull yourself up by those bootstraps. You little poory over there.
Yeah.
Little poor.
You fucking
Tap you on the head.
You fucking poor.
Yeah. They're trying. They're trying, but like it's a confused ass message at the end.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. But that's what I mean is like the moral is Christmas and traditions. Traditions are, she says something like traditions are just wrapping.
Yeah.
And like, you know, it's about being together and stuff like that. And it doesn't solve everything, but it's nice to have. But yeah, the movie, like, clearly some producers are popping their heads in there and being like, but she's got to solve everything. Like all the problems in the movie presented, she's got to solve them. Right. So like they're what the movie doesn't really mesh with the actual moral. And then the movie ends, right?
Yeah.
So that's like the whole movie.
We pretty much described the entire film.
Mm-hmm. I thought Shirley MacLaine was killing it.
She was having fun.
Yeah. I thought everybody was killing it for a kids movie, you know?
Yeah.
I don't know. We're talking about what is essentially, was this supposed to go in theaters?
It was.
It looked like it.
It was, and it was also filmed in 2017 and didn't come out until 2019.
That's interesting because I knew, like, it obviously wasn't filmed during the pandemic or anything, but like,
no.
The message of like, hey, things suck, but Christmas is kind of in the movie. So I figured they were like, I don't know. I guess things sucked in 2017 too.
Yeah. I mean, they suck more now.
They suck more now.
Things have been sucking for a minute.
Yeah. We've been sucking left and right, you know. It's Suck City over here, Tom.
Mm-hmm. It's Suckville.
Yeah, Suckville,
Population Santa.
It's Population Santa. I guess what I was going to say is it feels like a really high budget TV movie special. Mm-hmm. You know, like a cheesy Hallmark TV movie.
Yeah.
And I guess I was judging it from that perspective of like sitting down and being like, this is not a genre I like. I don't like cheesy holiday specials. Mm-hmm. Especially stuff like this. And for one of those, it's a delightful film, I think.
Yeah. I mean, it was, like I said, it was fine.
Yeah, I'm grading on a curve here.
Yeah.
Like if you need to watch something with like a 90-year-old and a 5-year-old at the same time, mm-hmm. you stick this on, right?
I mean, this will satisfy both of those extremely specific needs. Yes, this film has got you covered.
Yeah. It's I don't know. it's fucking fine. But it's asked a lot of, like, it is a cult. Like, all right, what is, like, is there, they seem to, like, they're, like you said, the chocolate, they use chocolate for money, right?
Yeah.
Is Santa like, is he the center of their economy? Because they say at one point, Bad Santa says, like, he refers to kids as customers, and they say they aren't customers. They're, we're just bringing Christmas cheer. And that feels like the foundation of why it's a cult, right? Is that it's not that Santa's the center of their society because he's just like the big, he's the equivalent of the like small town Walmart, where it's like he's a job creator. It's more like he's an ideology that this entire town of people living out their lives, they're all obsessed with Santa.
Yeah.
But, like,
he's like the lord of the fiefdom.
Yeah, like, what would you say is the population of North Pole in this?
I don't know. It looks like maybe a couple hundred.
Okay, yeah, that's not that much, but it really, like, there's a Santa newspaper. People seem kind of like, there's, like, politics. There's a council. Santa stuff isn't just decided by Santa in this. Like, do you think there's a whole, like, thing where if Santa... We kind of see this in that, where the tech Santa, he's running things wrong, and the council confronts him, and there's this big thing. So I guess it's not, like, a single ruler. It's like there's... Is it like our politics, where there's, like, kind of a president... And that's Santa.
They don't elect Santa. He has to be blood related, so it's like royalty.
Right.
I don't know.
It's royalty, but then there's a council. I assume
it's like England. It's like Parliament, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, they say because she at the end she's like, and I appointed Aunt whatever for the council as the first woman. So like Santa appoints the council.
That seems wrong.
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. It all seems like, but they do try to challenge that Santa. Like, you know what it feels like? It feels like some real Game of Thrones shit.
I guess.
Like, I could see the council conspiring to poison Santa, and maybe that's what happened.
Oh, yeah, they red wedding him?
Yeah, because I think the council shares some power with Santa, but Santa ultimately is the decider, right? He can kind of hire the council. He probably hires people who he knows will do right by him, but then they have sort of a social pull excuse me, over time. And so, like, there's, like, older council members who's been there for so long versus a new Santa, where it's like, a young king and an old council. Like, the king technically is the one in power, but the council can kind of pull the strings. And they're using this opportunity to kind of do that. This is their chance, If they could ever overthrow Santa's power, it's right here at this transition. What do you think?
I mean, yeah, no, they probably have a guy waiting to just use a garroting wire on Bill Hader when she brings him back.
Probably. Because that's the thing is because this begins with the idea that Bill Hader is not a good Santa, right? He's bad at it. And they're all like shaking their heads and like, and then they assign Tech Santa, and he's even worse. And so like, what would happen if she never came back? Do you think they would kill this new Santa? Stab him with a candy cane or something? Like, because he's hurting Christmas, right?
Yeah,
I think he's really bad for Christmas.
If Anna Kendrick hadn't come back in 2 days, they probably would have killed Billy Eichner. Yes.
Yeah. And then what? Michael Gross would have, and then there would have been this struggle for power there.
Yeah, among the Santa Council. Yeah. Yeah,
they'd be Santa-less. The Santa Council would start backstabbing each other. It's just like it's more structure than I feel like most Santa movies have, right?
I guess
you're a Santa Claus expert. You saw the 3 Santa Clauses.
Yeah, it's just Santa Claus in those movies.
Right, and it's just like Santa Claus is like oddly omnipotent in a way, even if he's mortal. He just knows the right thing to do. And this movie presents the idea that Santa doesn't necessarily know what he's doing. And they have to every, how long do you think a Santa lives?
Probably
Is it like human years?
Probably the same length of time as a human being, yeah.
Yeah, so like every 60 to 80, I don't know how long they cling to power, but like every like 60 to 80 years, they have to deal with like a new Santa. And if the elves are immortal, that presents even more fucked up situation, because the elf council, they see Santas come and go all the time. They're the powerful ones, right?
Not that we've seen, no.
What?
We haven't seen that in anything. I mean, I guess theoretically they could be.
I'm just saying in this situation.
The way that peasants would technically be the powerful ones in a fiefdom.
Well, I'm saying that the elf council, since they live longer than the Santas.
There's a Santa council, not an elf council.
Oh, okay, so they're mortal.
I assume so. I'm not positive.
So what's going on there? There's humans and elves?
It looks like it.
Because like the dynamic, because Santa is a jolly old elf, right?
That's what they say, but like the Kringles in this movie clearly aren't elves. They don't have pointy ears.
Yeah. So is that like an issue, you think? You think like the humans consider themselves better than the elves?
I'm sure there's some very deeply seated racism in the North Pole.
Yeah, it's going to be like a Harry Potter situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you notice that Shirley MacLaine had to cover her elf ears like Spock in The Voyage Home?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
She pulled the like headband.
Oh
trick.
yeah. She was doing the. She's wearing a knit cap at one point, like Spock in the City on the Edge of Forever.
Exactly.
Just dressing like a dock worker.
Yeah. Usually they present the Santa world a little more simple. Like the elves are very simple. They're just like, we just exist for Santa, and like they're almost like they don't have souls.
That's probably how Santa thinks of them. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that's how a lot of Christmas movies present the elves, as like sort of just objects. And so we don't have to worry about their rights as much. In this one, it's like the fact that they're like a town and there's a newspaper, meaning that there's press, meaning that there's like freedom of press probably, or is it propaganda? I don't know.
I assume the newspaper's kind of like, well, no, the newspaper turned on her pretty quickly when she lost Santa.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
So they have no particular allegiance to the Kringle family.
Right. And that's what's kind of wild is I think it's the introduction of press, of journalism into this world really like made me wonder, because the moment press is involved, that means people have they have a right to be informed.
There's
of
a
what's
level
going
of accountability. Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And so suddenly like the politics matter. And then it's just like, well, what? Okay. So everybody's just, do they see Santa as just like the president? So like most of them are living out their lives. They're not thinking about Santa. Or like, are we just seeing like the close, the sycophants, the Santa fants?
Yeah.
I want to know more about this North Pole.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I am completely not interested in having this conversation anymore.
Oh.
I don't give a shit how the North Pole works in this movie.
You understand what I'm saying though?
Yeah,
is that this movie introduced
by making it a little grounded but still a magical place, it does raise a lot of questions.
It does.
How does this work?
Yeah, it's like in Jurassic Park if one of the dinosaurs was just wearing glasses and they didn't talk about it, and it was like, wait a second.
I mean, it's not that wild, but
no, but it's a small element that they sort of hand wave that makes you ask a lot of questions once you hone in on it, and it's just like, I'm just curious. And in this movie, it's just like a bit where at one point someone's like, "Did you see the newspaper?" And that's it.
Right, and there's like a joke headline that comes out after Santa disappears.
Right.
Where it's like, we're not blaming anybody, we're just saying, and it has her picture on the front.
Right.
Actually,
Can she sue? Can she sue for libel?
I don't think so. I mean, if there's no cops, there's probably not lawyers.
Right, but there's a Santa council. I don't.
Yeah, maybe you get called before the Santa council and they banish you to the harsh surrounding wilderness.
Probably. Right?
Also, Frosty is real.
Yeah, Frosty is real.
Like she knows Frosty.
That's weird, huh? Because like Frosty isn't really a person. Frosty's a hat, right?
No, I think that's just in the cartoon.
Oh, so Frosty.
Oh no,
like,
wait, that is in the song. That is in the song.
Yeah, he just came to life one day.
Yeah.
So like he's like he's like a folk tale. You know, like I don't think like does she think of Frosty the way we think of like Paul Revere, of like just something they learn about, or is Frosty is Frosty like a creature that lives in the hat? That embodies the snow when put on various pieces of snow.
You know, Paul Revere's a real person.
Yeah, but Frosty is too in this world.
Right, but you're like, I got confused because you're like, is it like a folk tale? And then your next example was Paul Revere.
Oh, well, for the record, the tale of Paul Revere is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like the actual, that's a folk tale.
Of course. Well,
based on a real person.
Yes.
He barely got, he didn't warn nobody about the British.
I mean, I think he did like one leg of the journey. Like it was a bunch of people.
It was a bunch of people, but if according to my high school history teacher, he didn't get very far. He didn't do shit. Someone, if I'm wrong, someone tweet, you know.
Yeah.
But from what I remember, is Paul Revere ain't shit. His name rhymed, and so they were like, "That's our guy." Fuck him. Fuck him.
Sure, but like like a folk tale is like Paul Bunyan.
Yeah, okay. Paul Bunyan's a better example. But no, I'm just saying. I actually no. Sorry, folktale is the wrong thing. That's what it is. Okay. It's what I mean is Frosty. He's like a historical hero, or is he an entity that lives in a hat that people encounter every now and then?
I don't know.
Because
she describes him as someone who's afraid to go inside because he's afraid of fireplaces and stuff. So it appears to be like he's the same entity.
Yeah. So
just
like the story
round.
the story of Frosty, when Frosty melted, it wasn't actually like Frosty dying. It was just sad for the kids in that story. But Frosty apparently lived on in the hat.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
he said I'll be back again next year.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
That's true.
Motherfucker haunts them for 11 more months.
Yeah, he's like an evil genie in that hat. It's like Wishmaster or some shit.
It's exactly
like that hat.
Like Wishmaster.
Yeah.
It is no different from Wishmaster.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
The similarities are too numerous to list.
Yeah, so we're not gonna.
And
are we done?
We've been done for about 11 minutes.
Okay. Well, hey, thanks everybody. Thanks to Andrew McGuire
for the festive Christmas movie.
Folks, this was done through our Patreon. If you're interested, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gamefullyunemployed. We have exclusive podcasts there, like Tom and Jeff Watch Batman, and Fox Mulder is a Maniac. There's tiers where you can watch movies with us every Friday night. And there's tiers where you can produce your own episodes that we just watched, or just a whatever podcast. There's a lot of possibilities.
Yeah, that's so many possibilities.
Yeah.
We also have a store at tpublic.com/stores/gamefullyunemployed where you can get t-shirts, masks, mugs, stickers, posters, all kinds of things.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah.
We should sell, maybe our hats will bring a snowman to life.
Maybe they will.
But do we? I don't think we have hats. I don't know.
I don't know. I think there might be hats.
I literally have no idea what we sell.
I don't think we have hats. But like, put the T-shirt on things and see if those come to life.
Like make like a cool headband out of a hat.
And not just
out of a shirt.
Yeah, like if you find like a dead horse,
like a cool bandana.
Yeah, put that on there.
Yeah,
see if it comes to life.
Put it on the dead horse's head like a Macho Man bandana and see what happens.
Yeah, like you're Shirley MacLaine covering up her Spock ears.
Covering up her demon horns.